There is a moment nobody talks about. It's not the promotion email, it's not the champagne, it's not the screenshot you send to your group chat. It's a quiet moment, late at night, on a random weekday, when you open your banking app. Your salary is higher than it's ever been. 6 figures. The number you were told would fix everything, and yet, your chest tightens. You don't feel proud, you feel cautious. You start doing mental math, rent, mortgage, credit card, student loans, you scroll, you refresh. And for a split second, a thought slips in that scares you. How am I still this close to the edge? We were raised on a very specific promise. Work hard, get educated, climb the ladder. And one day, when you cross that magical line $100,000 a year, life gets lighter. Breathing gets easier. Anxiety fades into the background. You finally stop worrying. That number has been sitting in our collective imagination for decades. A finish line, a symbol, a quiet agreement between effort and reward. But something strange is happening. More and more people are hitting that number and feeling worse than they did before. More stress, less time, higher expenses, and a savings account that refuses to grow. If that's you, let me say this clearly. You're not irresponsible. You're not bad with money, and you're definitely not alone. Here's the uncomfortable truth. When your income goes up, your life doesn't just get bigger. It gets more expensive to maintain. Not because you suddenly love luxury, but because expectations change. Quietly, subtly, without anyone asking for your consent. You're not just earning more. You're being upgraded into a new role, a role with invisible rules. You don't drive that old car anymore. It doesn't match who you're supposed to be now. You don't live in that small apartment. People at work know where you live. You don't say no to certain things. Because successful people don't say no to those things. No one forces these upgrades on you. That's what makes the trap so effective. You choose them. One reasonable decision at a time. At first it feels like progress, a nicer place, a newer car, better childcare, more convenience. Each decision makes sense in isolation, but zoom out and something changes. Your monthly burn rate creeps up. Your margin for error disappears. Your life becomes expensive. Not luxurious, expensive. There's a difference. Luxury is optional. Expense is mandatory. And once your life becomes mandatory, freedom quietly exits the room. Here's the part that really messes with your head. You're making more money, but you feel less secure. Because now, more things depend on you staying exactly where you are. The job, the income, the pace. You can't afford to slow down. You can't afford to mess up. You can't afford to hate your job too loudly. Your lifestyle has become a contract you never remember signing. And this is where the panic starts. Not loud panic. Quiet panic. The kind that shows up as insomnia, as irritability, as ordering takeout because cooking feels impossible. You're tired, but you can't rest. Because rest feels risky. You tell yourself this is just adulthood, just responsibility, just the price of success. But deep down, you feel it. Something is off. Because money was supposed to buy freedom, not anxiety, and yet here you are, running faster than ever, with less room to stop. In the next part, we're going to talk about why this happens structurally, why earning more often leaves you with less control, and why the system rewards extremes but quietly punishes the middle. And more importantly, why this isn't a motivation problem, it's a math problem. Let's talk about the math. Not the spreadsheet kind. The kind nobody walks you through when you get promoted. Because on paper, the story looks incredible. You go from $75,000 to $100,000 a year. $25,000 more. That sounds like a new life. In your head, you do the quick math. That's $2,000 a month. That's breathing room. That's savings. That's finally getting ahead. But that's not what actually happens. The first thing that shows up isn't freedom, it's friction. Your marginal tax rate climbs, not all of your income. Just the new part. Every additional dollar you earn gets shaved down before it ever touches your account. Then something subtle happens. Benefits quietly disappear. Deductions phase out. Credits vanish. Assistance you didn't even realize you were still getting suddenly goes away. No email, no warning, no explanation. Just less. For some people, it's student loan deductions. For others, it's healthcare subsidies. For families, it's childcare support. You cross an invisible line, and the math flips on you. You make more, but your costs jump faster, sometimes violently faster. There are situations where earning $10,000 more results in $15,000 of new expenses. Let that sink in. You worked harder, you got promoted, you leveled up. And on paper, you are poorer. Not emotionally poorer, mathematically poorer. This is the part nobody tells you because it sounds absurd. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. The system is shaped like an hourglass. At the bottom, there's help, safety nets, support. At the very top, there are advantages, capital gains, write-offs, loopholes. But in the middle, full price, retail pricing for life. No discounts, no shortcuts, no forgiveness. You pay for everything with after-tax dollars and zero leverage. And then there's inflation, the silent one, the one that doesn't feel aggressive until you zoom out. That six-figure salary used to mean something very different. Decades ago, it bought status, space, time. Today, it mostly buys obligation. What looks like success on paper often translates into survival in practice. And the most dangerous part? We still spend like the old version of that number. We budget as if the currency hasn't changed, as if the lifestyle is still affordable, as if the math still works. It doesn't. So now you're squeezed from both sides. Higher taxes on the way up, higher expenses at the top. Your raise doesn't lift you, it thickens the walls around you. You're running faster, but the treadmill is accelerating. And every time you start to catch your breath, something new absorbs it. A slightly better neighborhood, a slightly better car, a slightly better school. Not extravagant, just expected. This is where people get confused. They think the problem is discipline, or budgeting, or willpower. It's not. You're not leaking money randomly, you're operating inside a system where the middle pays for stability with fragility, where the reward for earning more is losing margin, and margin is everything. Margin is what lets you say no. Margin is what absorbs mistakes. Margin is what gives you options. When margin disappears, your life might look impressive, but it becomes incredibly brittle. One missed paycheck, one health issue, one layoff, and suddenly, the number that was supposed to protect you isn't enough. In the next part, we're going to talk about what this pressure does to your psychology. Why high earners end up spending more, not because they're careless, but because they're exhausted. And how time, not money, becomes the most expensive tax of all. There's a cost nobody includes in the spreadsheet. Time. To earn six figures in today's economy usually means your job doesn't end when the clock does. You don't clock out. You log off. And even then, your mind stays plugged in. Emails at night, messages on weekends, deadlines that follow you home. Your body might be on the couch, but your brain is still at work, always on standby. When you were making less, work had edges. You showed up. You did the job, you left. Now work bleeds. It seeps into dinner, into sleep, into conversations. And that constant cognitive load does something dangerous. It makes you tired in a very specific way. Not physically tired, decision tired. So you start solving problems with money. Not because you're irresponsible, but because you're depleted. You order food because cooking feels like another decision. You pay for convenience because friction feels unbearable. You outsource chores, you upgrade tools, you subscribe to relief. Each expense feels justified, small, reasonable, temporary, but together they form a pattern. You're spending money to recover from the way you earn money. This is lifestyle gravity, not a sudden leap, a slow pull. The better your income looks, the heavier your life becomes. More responsibilities, more expectations, more things that quietly require maintenance. A bigger place means more to clean. A nicer car means higher insurance. A better life means more systems to manage. You don't feel richer, you feel managed. And here's the cruel irony. The more you earn, the harder it becomes to step away. Not because you love the job, but because your life is now calibrated to a very specific number. Your expenses assume you'll keep showing up. Your commitments assume nothing changes. Your lifestyle assumes stability, which means uncertainty becomes terrifying. Not exciting, not adventurous, terrifying. This is how golden handcuffs are made. Not with greed, with normal decisions. You didn't chase luxury, you chased comfort. You didn't want excess, you wanted ease. But ease has a cost, and over time that cost is optionality. Optionality is the ability to change your mind, to say no, to walk away, to pause without panic. When optionality disappears, you might look successful, but you're functionally trapped. You can't afford to rest. You can't afford to experiment. You can't afford to be honest about how you feel. Because honesty threatens the structure you've built your life around. So you adapt. You normalize the stress. You rationalize the exhaustion. You tell yourself this is just how it is. Everyone's tired. Everyone's busy. But deep down, you notice something. You're working harder than ever to maintain a life that doesn't actually feel better. In the next part, we're going to draw a line between income and wealth. Why one measures speed and the other measures distance. And why confusing the two keeps people running in place for decades. We need to separate two ideas that are often treated as the same thing: income and wealth. They are not interchangeable. Income is motion. Wealth is position. Income is how fast you're moving. Wealth is where you actually are. You can move very fast and go nowhere. This is why so many high earners feel stuck. They have strong cash flow but weak foundations. Money comes in. Money goes out. Nothing accumulates. They're not building distance. They're maintaining speed, and speed is exhausting. Here's the uncomfortable part. When income goes up, mistakes get more expensive. A small lifestyle upgrade at a low salary is an inconvenience. The same upgrade at a high salary becomes a structural dependency. You don't just buy things, you adopt obligations. And obligations don't care how motivated you are. They only care that you keep paying. This is where many people get trapped. They think the solution is to earn even more. Another promotion, another title, another bump. But if the structure doesn't change, more income just feeds the machine. The treadmill doesn't stop. It gets smoother, more comfortable, more dangerous. There's a law in economics that explains this perfectly. Expenses expand to meet income. Not because people are reckless, but because humans adapt. Your standards shift. Your baseline rises. What once felt indulgent starts to feel normal. And what feels normal quickly becomes non-negotiable. This creates a strange paradox. Someone earning $50,000 with low fixed costs might be closer to freedom than someone earning $150,000 with a fully optimized lifestyle. The first person has slack. The second has commitments. Slack creates options. Commitments consume them. So the question isn't, how much do you make? It's, how much of your life is already spoken for? How many future decisions have you pre-sold to maintain the present? How many choices have you traded for comfort? This is why income alone is such a misleading goal. It feels concrete, it's easy to measure, it's easy to compare, but it tells you nothing about how fragile or resilient your life actually is. Wealth does. Wealth is what remains when income stops. In the final part, we're going to talk about what actually breaks this cycle. Not extreme frugality, not quitting your job, not rejecting ambition, but a quiet shift in how you treat money, status, and freedom. The way out of this isn't dramatic. It doesn't involve quitting your job, or moving off-grid, or rejecting success. It's quieter than that, almost boring, and that's why it works. The real shift happens when you stop using money to signal who you are and start using it to protect who you might become. Most of the pressure you feel isn't financial, it's social. The pressure to upgrade, to keep pace, to look like your income. But the system feeds on visibility, on what other people can see. So the rebellion starts by pulling your life out of sight. You don't upgrade the things that perform for others. You upgrade the things that buy back your time. You let your car age, your phone stay boring, Your lifestyle looks slightly out of sync, and you let that discomfort exist, because that discomfort is cheaper than dependence. When your income increases, the most powerful move you can make is to do nothing. Let the raise pass through you without changing your life. Redirect it, hide it from yourself, move it before you can touch it. Not because spending is bad, but because options are rare. This creates something most people never experience. Space. Space between your needs and your income. Space between your job and your identity. Space between fear and decision. That space is freedom. Not the kind that looks impressive, the kind that works quietly in the background. Here's a simple test. If you lost your job tomorrow, would you panic or would you pause? Panic means your life is optimized for income. Pause means it's built for resilience. That difference is everything. The true flex isn't what's in your driveway. It's how long you could survive without asking permission, how many bad days you could afford, how honest you could be with a boss you disagree with. Income is not the enemy, but when it becomes the point, it turns into a trap. Wealth isn't about how much passes through your hands. It's about what sticks, what stays, what protects your future self. So don't chase the number, chase margin, chase optionality, chase the ability to change your mind. Because in the end, that's what money is really for. If this video made something click, send it to someone who just got a raise and feels strangely nervous. They'll know why.